Tilea's Troubles, Part 37. Not Gormless. Late spring, 2402, in south-eastern Tilea. As soon as he saw the burnt-out tower, Big Boss Gurmliss knew where he was. The ruin was no more than a mile from where the mob had been camped when he had left them 2 weeks previously. They might not still be there, but once he found the campsite, it would be very easy to follow their trail. Greenskins were not what you would call tidy, and even if they made an effort to hide their passage, Gormless knew all the signs to look for.
"Boss,"
came Frabble's urgent voice.
"I knows this tower. We was—"
"Shh!" ordered Gormless. Someone was approaching. He always seemed to know when someone was creeping up on him, though which of his senses did the work of revealing the fact he had never quite pinned down. He unsheathed his heavy-bladed sword and rested it upon his chain-mail shoulder. There was a skittering sound, the clatter of stones, and then a familiar goblin lurched around the tower, his unsteadiness due to being hauled by a pack of rats. Known as the Ratter, on account of his constant companions, 4 mangy, red-eyed rodents, his real name was Mig. Yanking upon the leads to bring his rats to a jerking halt, he cocked his pistol by rubbing the hammer upwards against his shoulder.
"You came back, then?"
Mig said, scowling at Gormless and the other 2 survivors. Gormless laughed, wondering if the sight of his unsheathed, blood-stained blade had prompted Mig's unfriendly preparations, or whether such suspicion was due to yet another shift in power in the mob. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw that his companions had both knocked arrows to their bows, and it suddenly dawned on him that all this nervousness could result in him playing a deadly game of piggy in the middle. So it was, he cut short his laugh and answered quickly,
"Ain't it somewhat obvious I'm back? You're looking right at me, Mig. It's not like you need them rats to sniff me out. Are you thinking I'm all ghostly?"
"I see you," said Mig, "and I see only 2 gobs with you, so I reckon you left some behind."
"Some, yeah. And before you go asking where our snarlers are, we've got wolf flesh in our bellies to answer that question. Tasty, too."
Mig's lips curled to reveal 2 fang-like teeth, and he pulled on his rat pack's leads.
"These are mine," he warned. "If you get to thinking you's wanting some seconds, I'll set 'em on you, and then we'll see who bites who."
"Don't go worrying. We's all full up,"
said Gormless, as he patted his chainmail-clad belly.
"Never mind yapping about dinner. I've come back with stuff to tell, and I want to know who it is I'll be telling it to, and where they are."
Now it was Mig's turn to laugh.
"Ha! Also, Big Mosh and his boys didn't want you then? That's why you're back, looking for your old mob to take you in. I bet all your missing gobs and snarlers are in orcs' bellies, not yours."
"Look here," said Gormless. "I said I was going to see what they were up to, and that's exactly what I did. I'm back because I was always coming back. Besides, even if I was the naughty goblin you think I am, there was barely anything left of Moshe's mob. They can't even decide what to do, and so they're doing a bit of everything. Some going this way, some going that, and what with an army after them, they're doing it all quickly. Too quickly. Mosh has got no more than a dozen to boss around now. Even the bulls left him."
"An army after them? What army?"
"Same as that smashed and bashed us at Tersey, of course, with its stinking powder smoke and a gun in every hand. And it's on its way here right now. Seems old Fergal was wrong. Leaving the orcs didn't shake the men off our tail, and now they's picking us off one by one. So tell you what, I'll ask again, and we'll make this the last time, shall we? Where's the mob, and who's in charge?"
Mig had become fidgety. Something his rats seemed to sense, their fur bristling. And when he spoke, Gormless could tell his mind was elsewhere.
"Old Fergal ain't running things no more, on account of him being dead," he said. "Moonface Stuldrude's the boss now. The mob ain't that far away neither, I can show you."
"Moonface is in charge? How low can the mob sink? Old Fergal was bad enough with his gammy foot, but I've seen Moonface struggle to work out how to unsheathe his blade, never mind use it in a fight."
"He ain't one for scrapping, true, but he's got ideas, he has. He says he can read man words for one, and he knows how to mix up black powder, good stuff and all. I got it in my pistol right now. Most important, he knows how to get secrets from the stubbornest of gobs."
The last part got Gormless's attention.
"What gobs? What secrets?" he asked.
"One of Scarback's runts. Whispered to a blabbermouth that he knew where some great prize was, something the rat men would pay a lot more than a lot for. Moonface got him to say it a bit louder.
Even Frabble, not the brightest of goblins, was interested now.
A rat man prize, he said. Gold and glitter, magic and machines.
Dunno, said Mig. Don't think the runt knows either. If he did, he'd still have some fingers and toes. But he knows where it is. Moonface reckons when we get it, we can buy our way out of Tilea.
Gormless did not like the sound of any of this. Rat men were most cruelly peculiar creatures, who were reputed to backstab each other on a regular basis, never mind others they had dealings with. And the thing they treasured most was a burning kind of poison, or so he'd been told. Worst of all, he wouldn't trust Moonface to keep his wits about him when assailed by an angry bee, never mind when dealing with a rat-man warlord.
Be a good lad, Mig. Take us to the mob like you said you would. I think I need to have a word or two with Moonface.
Tilea's Troubles, Part 37 continued. Ducibus. Directed by the gods. Late spring, 2402, Western Tilea. The northern stretch of the Via Diocleta near to Remas. Almost every day, around this time, Frediano crossed the road here, invariably burdened with a knapsack containing a loaf wrapped in linen, a soft pot of cheese, or whatever else his mother had packed to take to his grandmother's hovel. His grandmother had simple tastes and was always grateful, fussing over him and offering something seasonal she could gather nearby, either olives from her garden, an orange from the little tree by her door, or more often a cup of goat's milk from Rubina. And she always shared the bread, saying,
"That's too big a loaf for me. You have some, sweet boy."
Today, Frediano was stuck on the wrong side of the road, his growling belly forgotten as he gazed at the unexpected traffic. He could have crossed the road before they reached him, but on spotting the vanguard of the column, he forgot his errand and stumbled to a halt, standing, wide-eyed and curious. A lone trumpeter led the way, mounted on a fine black horse, something like the sort that lords use for hunting, but more slender and graceful. Of course, he had seen soldiers on the Via Diocleta before, little companies of mercenaries with crossbows, pikes and colourful clothes, sometimes riding nags, but most often afoot, their nags pulling wagons. But these soldiers were different in every way. They were camelli riders, with a double pennant banner fluttering high above them, accompanied by the booming sound of the largest drums Frediano had ever seen. Their clothes were mostly loose, white linen, with blue or red scarves, either around their waists or coiled about their heads, and some wore heavy chainmail. They carried shields of strange shapes, decorated with golden orbs and tassels of golden silk. They sported neatly curled beards, shaped rather more elegantly than the mercenaries wore. Their spears were almost as long as pikes. And strangest of all were their mounts, hulking beasts with over-large heads, lazy eyes, spindly legs, and large fleshy lumps heaped upon their backs to provide a cushion upon which to strap a saddle. Although he had heard of camelli, he had never seen one before. They were not how he had imagined, being much uglier than horses.
"Not them orcs we was expecting, are they?" came a voice from behind, startling him. "The ones everyone was going on about."
It was Pepe. Frediano had been so fascinated by the soldiers he had not noticed Pepe's approach, nor did he turn to look at him now. "Arabians?" Frediano said. Pepe sniffed.
"I know, Freddy. They're called Sons of the Desert."
He sounded all matter of fact, as if he were accustomed to witnessing such sights.
"My papa told me all about them. The boy king bought them to fight the Greenskins."
"But the orcs have already been beaten by the Northerners down in Alcente," said Frediano.
"They have. And now that the Northerners beat them to it, this lot are going north."
"Where to?" asked Frediano. Pepe laughed.
"Your mamma and Nonina should not keep the world from you. You must know there's a war on in the north, Vampiro and Cheletri."
"Everyone knows that."
"Well, all the soldiers are supposed to go and help."
Pepe sniffed.
"It looks like they are."
"Do you think the vampire soldiers will be scared of camelli?" asked Frediano, noticing how much larger than horses they were, lifting the riders at least another foot from the ground, if not more.
I don't think they're scared of anything, said Pepe.
Frediano noticed his friend was watching the riders just as keenly as him. No, I suppose you're right, he said. The vampire soldiers do all the scaring themselves.
I'll bet these Arabians have seen all sorts, said Pepe. Desert goblins, sand devils, maybe even walking skeletons from beneath the ancient cities.
Frediano studied the face of the nearest Arabian, who stood beside a camello heavily laden with packs and sacks, wondering if he looked like a man who had seen it all. The man looked back, right at him, then winked. Without really thinking, Frediano waved silently in return.